So let's begin. Reach up, over, and stretching, lengthening. Happy to be here. I think Thursday is going to be very moving, very, very emotional, but in a good and a positive way. And reach through the fingertips. Good, and happy September, huh? Reach up. It is September. Yep. And it's feeling like fall in the morning. It's really feeling fallish, and then the evenings. Reach through the fingertips. Deep breath in. Exhale. Good. And release, and we're going to recross the legs and then a twist. So as far as today's class goes, I feel like movement. I feel, I just kind of feel like something we need right now. We're going to see how it all goes. But yeah, we're starting out with some nice, some movements that get the spine moving. That's going to be the first part, is get the spine all the way through. I think also the body holds tension. That's how we react to what's going on. Yeah. And then release and take the twist the other way. And release. Good. Let's take the arms up, interlace fingers, press palms up. Good. Shoulders are down. They love to hike up. Shoulders are down and look upward. And then release. Okay. So we start on, we're going to start on hands and knees. And as we're on hands and knees, I would just say, a lot of these are just really designed to get your spine moving. So first one, simple. We're probably spend a good 10 minutes here really working our spine. So rounding, we've got cat pose. Inhale, arch, cow. Back and forth. Round. Make sure that you connect the breath to the movement. You exhale, tuck belly in, create concave belly, and then inhale, arching, creating a saddle back and forth. Yeah. When I do cat, right? When you do cat, right? I tuck the belly and I hold in the stomach so I contract. What about the other one? And then the other one, nope, I let go, but because I'm kind of stretching, it doesn't feel like my stomach's just hanging. It feels like there's more of a stretch. What I do is more focus on contracting my back when I'm looking up. And when I look down and tuck my chin in, I'm focused on contracting or strengthening the belly. But this is amazing. This is a great movement for spinal flexibility. Let's do 3 more rounds wherever you're at. I don't think you can ever do enough. Okay, if I shut the door. Yeah. All righty, and then from here, just a little break from that, we're going to go back to downward facing dog. So your hands are spread wide, and you start to paddle. Yeah, so bend one knee, press opposite heel down, back and forward. back and forth. Really work through your feet, work through your calves, through the ankles, and of course, hamstrings. Okay, and then we're coming to child's pose. So once you come to child's pose, let's do this one where you come forward through rounded back, cat, and then to upward facing dog. So you round, and then you unfold, and your chin is the last part that comes up. And then exhale all the way back. Forehead touching down. Inhale, coming forward. And lengthen. I kind of feel like, oh, like it's a process. I don't know. The image that easily comes to mind for me is a wave crashing on shores. Oh, you get that power. And then you receive. And then another wave comes crashing ashore as you come forward. And if that image works well for you, good. Something of a fiddlehead unfurling, another one. Or a yo-yo. And wherever you're at, let's say 3 more. You can go slower than I do or faster. I think with these, it's very nice to go slow, so you feel your spine unwinding. And then finally, just bring your hands back by your heels, let your wrists release, forehead is down. There will be another one coming up, but this time, before we do, instead of downward facing dog, I actually want you off your wrist, so we'll do dolphin. So you can have hands clasped or palms flat. Palm flat is more, it's more challenging, I believe. And then your knees come up. And then to challenge further, you walk your feet in, rather. You walk your feet in. And then your tailbone comes up more, and you have to use your arms more to press back. Shake out your head, make sure your neck is released. And then keep steady with your right leg as your left leg comes up and your pelvis is squared. You could point through your left toe if you want, and so you can, your left foot, I should say, and the knee is straight and the leg is straight. And then lower and reverse. The other leg comes up, toes pointed, yep, lifting, breathing, and lower, and knees come down, and then reach your hands back by your heels, lower your forehead. And then from the hands and knees, we have the circles. They're like, I think of them as pelvic circles. So it could be like a really small circle or a larger circle. You go all the way back, you shift all the way over to one side and upward facing dog, knees can be up, and then pelvis out to the side and down. So you're going to continue in that direction. And then next time you're in upward facing dog, reverse the movement. One more circle in this direction. And then finally shifting back, taking your hands to your heels, lower your head. So back to, we're done with that type of movement. We will come back to plank on the elbows and work from there. They're strengthening poses. So the elbows are down and you extend your legs. So we're trying, have your palms flat. Yeah, there you go. And then try not to sink, but trying to be an inclined plane. Yep, engaging core. And then we're going to go back, walk your feet in, so it's dolphin. And then walk the feet back, and there you are again in plank. Do that twice more. Go back, walk your feet in a little more. You can do this, so you're stretching back. That's more like hamstrings. And then walk your feet to the back end of the mat, and you're in plank again. That's round 2. You have it in. Go ahead and bring your tailbone up in the air, walk your feet forward. And last one, walk the feet back. And let's come to a side plank. So you have to shift your arm. You go left or right. One arm is up in the air. You have to shift the lower arm, right? So the palm, like I'm looking at the screen and my fingertips are looking at the screen. And the arm in the air, the palm is facing the screen or the mirror you look at. And then other side. Cross, shift, and move. So it should feel like work, because I think it is. Yeah. Okay, and come on out. And then knees are down. And once again, that's like hardest on the elbows, I think. Just the bony elbows, right? And drop down, bring your hands by your feet and breathe. So we'll come onto our backs, and of course we'll be standing pose. I think this is a nice way to work. Have a block handy, and bring the block to your knees. And from here, really try to connect your low back to the mat without straining your neck. Arms are out in a T position. So it's going to be, it's a twist. So you take your knees over to the right, try to keep your left shoulder laid down, turn your head left. And then when you come back to center, connect your low back to the mat. That's the part that is more challenging. You could actually not do that. I'd never know. So it's you know, try to make that up. And then you draw your knees across to the left. Turn head to the right, right shoulder down. Come back and connect. Low back to the mat. And back to center. The whole time, squeezing the block evenly the whole time, consistently. And then press your back down into the mat. Knees to the left, head to the right. And back to center. And then I'm going to have you do one more, just complete your round. Really having to work hard to connect to the floor at the end of these. Because you're going from a stretch, the twist, to strengthening, to holding, to that isometric hold in the center. And then when you're done, you can let go. Woo, I know, like the tendency is to want to throw the block across the room. Don't refrain from doing that. And then soles of the feet are together, hands onto the belly. And I'm wondering if you feel some warmth. Did your muscles generate a little warmth? If not, we'll have to do it again. I'm just kidding. But yeah, you should feel that. And sometimes you feel it more like rather lower abdominal. You might feel it in your upper, higher up with your abdominals, wherever you're at. Breathing in and exhale. Yeah, breath in and exhale. So then from here, legs are extended and your arms are going to be up overhead. And we're gonna just do this like super easy at first, and then we'll add something more to it. So I don't know if it's super easy, but it's the first part, it's easier. So left hand, right leg come up, and you can tap or just kind of reach. It's not important that you hold, but that you reach. There's a difference. And then lower. And we do the other side, right hand, left leg come up together, your head lifts, and you reach, and you lower. Let's, yeah, I guess we can keep the arms up. Let's do one more on each side, reach up, and lower. Deep breath in when you lower, exhale, and you reach. Okay. So that, believe it or not, that's the easier part. So if you're like, oh, that's enough for me, that's where you stay, okay? Or your right hand is down on the mat. Make sure your elbow at least is on the mat, because you're gonna be pushing your elbow and your hand. Left arm up overhead, and it's gonna be your right leg that comes up. So take a breath in. Exhale, left arm, right leg comes up, and your right elbow helps you to push all the way up. Instead of holding, I'm gonna reach. Okay, and come down. Let's gonna do that side again. Breathe in, same side. Exhale, lift, and like the first time I do it, there's like a jerk movement, and then my muscles go, they catch on, and then they figure out. Let's do it third time, because the muscles kind of catch on how to do this. Breathe in. Exhale, a little smoother the last time. Don't you think? Just a little bit. Okay, I'm getting feedback. Uh-oh. All right, and then the other side. One thing about masks, you do learn to read expressions. All right, so you read eyes. That's it. So right arm up overhead this time. Left arm's in position. Yep. Exhale, lift. So right arm, left leg. Ooh, and then lower and come down. It's okay if you can't press up all the way, right? Breathe in, exhale, lift, a little smoother, and come down. Last one, breathe in, exhale, lift, hold, and release. Those are great. And then the counter pose is bridge, which is like a real stretch, right? So it's like you're strengthening your abdominals, and then bridge is a stretch. It's a stretch to your back, and of course, the front of your spine, abdominal chain, that's the stretch. So you're coming into bridge, good. Let's have hands down, and maybe then clasping hands, tuck shoulders underneath you, and lift. Breathe again, and exhale. So that nice, I don't know, I guess we would say juxtaposition between the stretch of the pose and the strength of the pose. Good, and then release, and then counter pose is happy baby. And you just reach for your feet, knees are wide. Take a moment to stretch your back. Breathing in. Exhale. And breath in. And exhale. And letting go. Good. So we come up. Let's come back to downward facing dog. And as we do so, the hands are spread wide and pressing down. So there's also, of course, this is more, I think it's a blend. You have to be strong, you have to be flexible, but usually your weak suit shows up first. So then we usually think, oh, this is about stretch, or oh, I want the strength of this. Hopefully you have both. And then we're going to take right leg up. We'll make it more about strength. So your leg comes up, that's stretch. And then bend your right knee and send your right knee to the outside arm. So there's a way in which I can let my right knee drop down. I want to try to keep it up. Yep, right beside the arm, and then move back. And if you're not certain, you could watch the second one, and we'll do each side one more time. So this is side one, second, side two, part one. And then go over, and the knee comes to the outside, so it's not dropping, it's coming up, and I'm holding wrist and shoulder stack, and then extending and lowering the leg. Okay, one more time each side. Right leg comes up, your way back, three-legged dog, hips are squared, and then bending your right knee and bringing your right knee to the outside, right elbow, good. And you can just place the foot back down. Woo, we almost got it. Left leg up, left knee bending, left knee to the outside elbow, and then down. You got it. Walk your feet wide as the mat. Walk your hands back. All weight is off the wrist. Hallelujah. And take your hands to elbows and let yourself hang. Stretching your spine and breathing. Feel, move your head around. Breathing in. Exhale. And then hands are right onto the thighs, and there you go, pressing up. And a new person has emerged, reaching up, inhale, and hands are to heart center. No, adjust the camera. Work. Let's see. Yep. Okay, got it. It's always a challenge. So at least you may not see my arms, or maybe you can see them in the mirror behind me. Okay. You guys, yeah, that's good. All right. So we'll just kind of, let's work with a strap. Let's go ahead and work with the strap and make a loop for the shoulders. I was working with someone yesterday on Zoom, and I don't know. I mean, I was on Zoom class last night before, and it turns out this woman, I was like, "Oh, do you have a strap?" And she said, "No, I don't really have a strap." She's been doing yoga since March, you know, at home. So I said, it's time for you to get your strap and all the props you need. So anyways, she's been waiting. So you do this, and it's going to be behind you. But I put the strap in front of me so you can kind of see it's narrow, like my shoulder. It's not as wide as my pelvis, okay? Then you take the strap behind you. And when you, it's going to be around your wrists. And when I'm looking at you, your arms are almost disappearing behind your back, if not all the way. Yeah. So it just depends on your flexibility. So your shoulder opening. So look up, lift your heart center. Feel like you have these wings back there that are like floating back behind you. And look up. And then bend the knees a lot. Bend the knees, and then lower your head and straighten your legs. And take your arms away from your back as far as you can. As far as you can. Maybe you're like, oh, so this is interesting because if the arms could go to a vertical line, that would be like, you know, that would be, I could say a goal, or that could be maybe something you aim for. If they don't, that's tight shoulders, right? And somebody can go further beyond that point, and that's where my shoulders go. That's kind of hyperextensive. That's not necessarily the goal. But we go to the place where you feel the stretch, okay? And then bend the knees. Now keep the knees bent and keep your arms back and look ahead of you. And can you drop down a little more? So your quads are working here. Yeah. And then look up, reach up, arch back. And let's do that again. And knees, take your arms up, up, and overhead. Straighten the legs. Breathe in. Exhale. Soften the knees. Head of you. drop. It's like at first I'm kind of sitting on my thighs and then I separate. That's where my thighs have to really work. And then press up. Good. Upward. And finally releasing the arms. So yeah, that's a lot. Yeah. So the hands, I think what we'll do is I don't need the loop. I'm going to hold the buckle piece in one hand. We'll just see how this works for you. I might come closer screen for this, so I'll try it from here. So I'm holding, I don't know, I know this is too short for what I want to do, but I'm going to hold and I can actually show you. So, oh, it's not too short. So I'm going to be going, extending and then extending. Actually, let's start in front of our bodies, in front. You'll see why. Okay, so because then you can really see what I'm doing. You're extending one direction. This back arm, elbows bent, and the arm is out. Yes. And then, oh, go ahead and aim high. You've got to have, yeah, bow and arrow in your hand. Yep. And then lower and do the other side. So your arm should be working for you. This is not elastic, but it's like you're trying to pull it apart as if it were elastic. And then you are looking to the side, breathing. Oh, yeah, and then we're going to aim high so that your back elbow draws down a little bit. And breathe. You want to feel that you can see your arm muscles are toned. Everything's working for you here. You're leaning a little more in. You're just leaning a little back. Yeah, there you go. Okay, and then release. Personally, I've never had to hunt with bow and arrow, so I don't know the technique exactly, but yeah. Anyways, and then we're going to take the arms behind. So when you're tight, the strap is right across. I'm trying to keep, can you see that? I'm going to try to keep a space. Yeah, so let's go this way and trying to keep that space. So for me, that means my left elbow's going to be down a little bit, and so I'm having to keep the strap away from my back, and my gaze is towards my right hand. Breathing in, exhale, and then release. And this is also isometric work. Okay, so instead of the strap across your neck, bring it back. I'm going to see my bows. I'm going to see how nice you're doing there. Yeah, yeah, that's good. Okay. And really engage your back muscles. Good. And then release. Good work. So let's go ahead and we'll have a block handy. First, we're going to work on stretching the hamstrings, and then we'll work on that RBG. Remember that whole thing? RBG. Like, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, thank you for all these wonderful ideas. Okay. So you can have 2 blocks or 1. All right, I'll just say if you have 2, because this is all about hamstrings. So I'll face this direction. All right. So right foot is down, and I bend my right knee as I reach the block, and then I take my left leg in the air. And you could flex, but make sure your toes are pointing down. And it really depends on you. So you're like, oh, I don't need blocks, or I need to be lower. See how this works for you. For me today, it's fingertips down, and that works. So see if you can draw the belly in, extend your back. So there's definitely a stretch going on, but your body is extended. Like there's also extension to work. That's the stretch part. One more breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Let's bend your right knee. Take your left foot back and come into a lunge position so we can stretch our left hip flex. Excellent. How are we doing? We're okay with the quiet? Oh, yeah. So, it's funny when it's a big class, it's like better to have music so you hear everybody breathing. We're not breathing though, we have masks on.
Yeah, well, that's
That's
probably the only good thing.
Yeah, yeah. Let's add a twist. So if you have a, your left hand might be on a block or right hand is on your low back, turn to the right and right arm comes up. You got it. Looks good. And then we're going to release. Okay. And then let's walk the left foot forward. Just have your blocks in place and just come up to standing and feel the difference in the legs. One leg is like, oh, okay. The other one's innocently waiting. And breathe. And then we come down again. So work the way how you feel you might need the blocks. And now your right leg floats up. You just love that word, floats up. Makes it sound like it's effortless. And then as you're here, you're flexing your right ankle, right toes pointing down, and breathing. And again, maybe you do go deeper, I don't know. Maybe this side you can, or you might be maxed. Usually, Tona is doing great there. I feel like Tona's right in the room with us. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale, and I just want you to think about, if you want to firm up your thigh, your left thigh, so your hamstrings stay in this stretch. It's a deep stretch. And then you go back, and I didn't say this, but one modified way of doing that, if someone, would be your hands on a chair, right? Like if you have a really bad hamstring, pull or something. Even though I didn't say that, if someone's in that condition, they're not really doing this, right? Like if you were in, a lot of pain, you're like doing that. And there are so many ways to modify. So here we are, stretching hip flexor. Breathe in. Stress often shows up in tight hip flexors. It's like your body's getting ready. When the body senses stress, no matter what the stress is, maybe stress has nothing to do with something you could run away from, but the body gets ready to run. It's kind of funny. You get all these stress hormones flood the system, getting you ready to flee or fight. And really, yoga is all about, we're going to relax and renew. Okay, come forward, bend the knees a lot, and then come up. Sweep the arms up. Exhale. Oh, we forgot the twist. Yes, thank you. Let's come back and do the twist. I was like, it felt incomplete. Oh my goodness. Okay, so left knee is bent, and your right hand may be on a block or not. Thank you. And twist. Some of you probably already did the twist, so okay. And extending. Thanks. And it's weird that I left it out because I really love the twist. It's like the best part for me. Good. Okay, and now we'll release and come out. Take a block with you when you come up. Okay. So the RBG goes like this. So, what we're doing is you're lifting your left leg. Think you're like a flamingo. And just watch it from a moment you drop down. Maybe your knees bent or you straighten and pick up. And the goal is to keep the leg up off the mat, maybe you're coming here. But the easier way to do it would be, if this just is really hard, is you just have your foot like, sometimes it's going to be bracing the floor. At least you're working towards letting go. So, all right, let's try. So left foot is up. Take a breath in. Oh, let's go ahead and reach the block up. And then lower. Bend your standing leg drop down. You can hold on to the block. You don't have to let go. But some of you can. You keep your hands to heart center. Straighten your back leg. Oh, you can take your arms back by your pelvis. Yeah, so it's like a really warrior there. And then grab hold of the block. Bend your standing leg. Come on up. And then once you come up, find your focal point ahead of you. And maybe that's it right there, or arms up. Maybe make your leg extending. And lower. Yeah, and if you think that's hard, you're not alone. It's not easy. What I want to say, I saw what you did, and I used to do that. So this is what I saw. I said here, I said extend your leg. And I saw that. And then I saw because you get Charlie horse. Yeah. And the first time I ever did it, that's exactly what happened to me. My teacher went like this. She had her leg up, she went up, and I was like, I think I could do that. And I went up, and my leg went this high, and it went into Charlie horse mode. You have to use your abdominals. Otherwise, your legs try to do all the lifting, and it goes into freak out mode. So what I do, this is the trick, when you'll have a chance on the other side. When I lift, I tighten this area, tighten. Then I extend, and my leg doesn't have to work as hard. You saw it. Yeah. It's I should have mentioned it before. Now I say it. Okay, let's do the other one. Which leg is up? Right leg. Thank goodness they're here. Okay. So I can't blame it on the booster. The booster was on Tuesday. Yeah. On Monday, what was it? Monday, booster, Tuesday, all day sick. Yesterday I was okay. And today I seem to be regret. So now, oh, I'm sorry, let's take the notes. Engage your core. So when you come down, it'll be a little smoother. Think about the front of your body is shorter than the back, right? That's when you know you're engaging because you're contracting muscles. And then you extend your back leg in the air, extend it. You can stay here or try to take your hands to your heart. Or you can take your arms back from your pelvis, what I call your best form of warrior three. Arms are like your wings, flying above the city, above the park. Above the Discovery Park. It's beautiful, you're looking around, and then you get to see the bird. Okay, reach for your block. Bend your standing leg a little bit. Okay, once you come up, find your Jishi point and really engage your core, more than you think you have to. Take your arm up, and then extend your leg. Yeah. So this is dessert. You get a squat in there. Okay. So let's go wide. So you're like, that's not dessert. Okay. You could go super wide or closer in. You determine if you want that like from horse pose or regular squat and stretching your back. Yep. And and much better. Yeah, and discovered a way, against the wall. And at home we don't always have wall space. And so those of you who have wall space, it's so great. You lean, still get the opening, but you have that comfort of the solid wall against you. You don't have to fatigue your legs too much. So as you're here, do look to the left and one more time. And then press on. Swing the arms up into the air and hands are to heart. So we'll go wide and we'll do windmill. I like that one. It's another twist, but it's stretch. Okay. So you're gonna go probably wide on your mat if you face near or not. And then your hands could be on blocks or not. And pause for a moment. So you're trying to elongate your spine. And then what we'll do is we'll have left hand down. Right hand sweeps up and you twist, turn from your entire spine. You're gonna feel the left inner thigh stretching a little more. Yeah. Good. And then whatever wall you're looking at, the palm is gonna say hello to that wall. If that makes sense. Yeah. And then the other side, hand is down. And sweep, hand-eye coordination. Watch your hand as it leaves the floor, as it reaches up, as it extends outward. And then lower. And then heels, toes. Well, of course, you gotta have balance in there. You gotta have balance. All right, so I give you the choice of tree if you want to tree. Here's what I'm gonna work with something that it can be challenging, but there's steps along the way, okay? So I'm gonna show it so that before you do it, because you're gonna be busy balancing and you can't be watching. So if I'm facing you, what I do is I bend both knees. I forgot to bend my knees. And I find a ledge to lean my foot on. So again, my legs are straightened, I bend my knees, my right leg finds a ledge. That might be your balance right there. It might be that you turn, like a quarter turn, and maybe go further and you turn more, or maybe go further. Using a strap is fine, extending your leg and extending your arm, okay? So the first part is actually quite doable. So the problem, of course, is, well, what if you're like, I want to do this, but I'm gonna need a strap. The strap could be in your hand already, so I'll show it with the strap, and we'll do it with the strap. Then you need a strap, I know that. So I'm kind of making a loop. These are kind of nice, these I don't know if yours is, these are newer and early steps. So if I make the loop, it stays. Here's my stay. Okay, mine at my studio don't stay. They're not older, but they just not like this material. Okay, both knees bend, feet are flat, looking straight ahead of you. Your right foot comes up and the heel is on your left knee. And all is good. And then your left hand across the right knee and you turn to the right. And it's okay, use a wall. Use a wall if you want to. Your elbow can be in the wall, your hand can be in the wall. And that great, right? No, it's bent. Oh yeah, left leg is still bent, but maybe you're gonna start looping. Oh, I see, your standing leg is gonna straighten. Yeah. Yes, good question. It's gonna straighten. You have it bent at first just to get that ledge, but now it straightens, and maybe you can straighten your right leg, and maybe your arms can extend. There's so many levels to this. And release. Meredith, that was good. It's really until it's time to release. It's yeah, and me too. And I did the same thing. I was like really good at it. And when I released, it was not a pretty show. Okay, but that's okay. That's part of the journey in life. Okay, it's not always pretty. So here we go. We're going to bend the knees. Already, I'm engaging the core, so I lift my leg. Oh, I'm gonna. Okay. And my right hand is on my left knee. Don't think it's a strap. Left hand could be on my low back. I'm just gonna get steady here and see, does my body say, yeah, go for it, Fran? And I'll say, all right. So I'm gonna, without looking, I have to loop my left leg. Okay. Lost the loop. And then I'm gonna straighten the leg and extend the left arm. Yeah, there's always one side, isn't there? Sometimes there's both sides. Okay, we're gonna come out. I have to come on that one gracefully, but okay. We figured out Anne's favorite pose. I'm just kidding. So, yeah, okay. All right, it's not like we do that one every day, right? So let's come down. Let's go ahead and come on down. And what I'm going to suggest is a shoulder stand cycle, and it's going to be brief, or you modify by taking a block under your sacrum. If you're like, oh, I love the shoulder stand, that's easy on my neck, then you would take your pelvis on a block, and that's it. And you'll be here, and that's really pleasant. For those of you who like shoulder stand, it can also be pleasant. So it's your experience of it, right? So take your hands to your low back. I do a little shuffling around, so I'm really trying to get my elbows close to each other. And breathe. Sorry, I said and breathe. This is hard to talk in this. Trying to get the candlestick going. Those of you in shoulder stand are starting to take your legs up overhead. So you might say, oh, I can't do that all the way. So your legs go partially over. And some, the feet come to the floor up overhead. You certainly don't look left or right. Bend the knees, come out slowly. All of us will come out. And once you come out, let your feet rest on the mat. If you have a block, you take the block away and take your head side to side. Take your head side, side, release your neck completely. And some of you have bolsters, some of you have block. We're going to do, or you could do fish pose without any props. But again, we're not going to be here too long. So you determine if you want your bolster. I'm going to even show with a blanket. Yeah, I was thinking, so if it's lengthwise, it's going to be easier for you. And if, let's say that you really don't do very well with the arching, you could take a block under your sacrum so that you don't have that arch or drop off at your pelvis. That would make it a lot easier. You keep your knees bent, but then if you're okay, dropping your pelvis down, you're sitting on the mat and your back is on the blanket for most. Arms could be out at like a star, if that makes sense, like a V. Yeah, there you go. And you're just letting yourself be free here. Worked hard. And I think it's good to acknowledge that, the effort that you put into this session. It's valid, the effort you put into the session. And I'm going to leave it up to you. We have the next like 4 minutes of Shavasana, 3 minutes maybe. So maybe you're happy on that blanket and you could stay, or your bolster, or maybe you're like, I'm going to be flat on my back. So I'm going to leave it to you how to. And feel comfortable on your back. This part of your session,
it's probably the most important part of your session. It's kind of like all roads lead to Shavasana. I know you thought I was going to say Rome, but Shavasana. And, as in ancient times, Rome was like the hub. It was where all roads led the Akya way. Everything led to the Akya way. And here we have all roads, all asanas leading to the sum total Shavasana, where we can notice the calm mind, the free physical body, which lends to the free spirit. Follow your breathing. Completely relax your feet, your legs, your spine. And it's not, I know it's never a lot of time. You do have the option of being at home and you could stay in Shavasana. You could log off and go back in to this deep relaxation. But if you are ready and when you are ready, we'll go ahead and start to move your hands and your feet. Oh, I so wish I could give you more time. Rolling to one side. I did remember I started late because I logged on, like I was having trouble logging on today. I just never had to use the, I had to find out Rob Warren's email address because I had to look that up, but I had it, which is good. Not his email login. So, hi Karen. We had a pretty magical yoga in the park yesterday. Karen was there. It was really great experience. So and here we are. Let's end our session with an Om.